Welcome to Caribbean Brilliance, where we highlight the contributions of Caribbean Americans, where we let them tell their story in hopes that it would inspire and empower the present and future generation. I am your host, Miss Francois. That's MSS for multi-talented and super sexy. Today, we have Miss Cindy-Ann. She is a comedian. Let me make sure I could read off this, because you know they like to give me their stuff so I could read it off correctly. She's a stand-up comedian known for her dry, observational humor, sharp timing, and she could read a crowd like it's nobody's business. She have toured the United States, the UK, Canada, the Caribbean islands. I think she only lists the countries to show off. Hello, Cindy-Ann.
Hi, how are you? Sexy, multi-talented, super sexy.
Go ahead. We could spend the whole 30 minutes just talking about me.
Hello,
Hi.
it is so good to be here.
I know, I get that all the time. So this is what first thing when I heard comedian, I'm like, okay, so she ain't making no money whatsoever.
Correct, that's true though.
Because how do you decide, first of all, to be a comedian? You just get up one day and be like, I think I'm funny, or people tell me I'm funny?
Both, but also your kid leaves for college and you're like, I could finally do what I want to do for myself.
So is this something you always want to do?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say, because you know, in Trinidad, because I grew up home, I've only been in the United States 15 years.
15 years. What? Trinidad and Tobago?
Uh-huh.
All right.
And back home, comedy wasn't really a career choice because there was really literally no money in the bucket, you know? And so I had my son, I was pretty young. I wanted to give him a particular lifestyle, and so I needed to work, I needed money, so I ruled it out after, you know, you realize this is not viable, I can't do it, so I just worked corporate.
And how would you say, like you mentioned, the comedy in Trinidad, how is that different from like you coming to Canada or United States? How is Trinidad comedy different from ours?
Well, it's changing, I have to say that, but back then it was more skits, a lot of more storytelling, and it wasn't like what we have here, like what I do now is like the American stand-up comedy. There's a punchline, you know, there's a formula to it. All those things I learned when I got into comedy. I realized it's not just, oh, I'm a great storyteller. I could hold court. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you go to a rum shop or you're in school. I was always very good with like relating a story. But stand-up comedy is so much more than that.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something like it. A lot of comedians, they get their humor from trauma.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Because I heard that from like Kevin Hart, like a lot of people.
It is true.
And it's your way of coping.
It is.
So girl, how much trauma you had in your...
A lot. Listen, traumatized. Coming here was trauma. To take the train, I'm traumatized. New York is traumatized.
And that's what I wanted to say, because you live in America now, right?
I do.
And you live in Florida.
I do.
Okay, we are
I'm
not
going to say, I mean, you don't have to say it like that.
But you know, most people, when they come, especially Trinidadians or Caribbean, it's mostly
Rite
New
of
York.
passage.
So how you decide Florida compared to New York, where if you want to make it in this world, you come to New York?
Because I didn't move here for myself. I didn't move to the U.S. for myself. I moved here for my son, for him to swim. He was a swimmer back home, a national swimmer.
Right, and that's
never on my radar. I never thought I would leave Trinidad.
And how was that adjustment for you? Because that's one of the things, as for any immigrant coming here, it's an adjustment.
I love how you said it. How was that adjustment as opposed to how is it going?
Yeah.
Because it's still an adjustment.
Really?
It is. It is. Being an immigrant, I think it's worse when you come here older.
I agree, because when you're a child, I think you could adjust so much faster.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I came here, I was an adult already set in my ways, very Trini, very culturally Trini.
Yeah.
My community is Trinidadians, my friendships, everything was home.
So what was one story or something that was hard for you when you switched?
My son going to swimming and not being recognized by the parents outside of the pool. That was, like, I was like, what? Like, so you could spend a day at the pool with a group of parents. You could swim, and then I would see them out in the mall.
Really?
And yeah. Or my neighbor. Like, I remember when I moved into my neighborhood, my neighbor would tell me good morning every morning, because we lived in a townhouse at the time, so that our cars parked, next to each other. And every morning we'd say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And one day I see her in Macy's. I'm shopping and I see she's shopping and I say, hi, Joan. And she goes, who are you?
And then after a beach, I mean, okay.
Right? Grab. I was like, it's me, Cindy-Ann. And she could not recognize me outside of that
Wow.
space. And that was, yeah.
Well, I see that's a lot of humor that's traumatizing.
It is.
That's a good story too. I expect to see that in your comedy at some point.
I did a one-woman show about 2 years ago and I spoke about that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
because
amazing.
it was so traumatic. Like I could not, because I'm like, I did show, anyway, it was about identity and finding who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, as time goes by, Trinidad no longer feels like home.
Mm.
The US is not home.
Yes, you don't like it. Where do you fit?
Where do you find home and that grounding? And that is, I think that's where I am now, because I've been here so long.
Yeah.
That when I go home, I'm kind of like, what y'all doing?
Yeah.
Because everybody moved on with their
Right,
life,
of
you know.
course.
And you're
Life
like,
is life, yes.
life, and you go home and you're like, what y'all doing today?
Do you get nervous when you get on stage?
Every single time I get nervous.
You pee a little, or what
I
happened?
could do a little more than pee. Yeah.
I wanted to know what that smell was, but
Yeah.
no judgment.
No, I get very nervous.
And what do you do to try to overcome that?
I say a grounding. I say a little prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ground myself. I sort of remind myself of who I am, what my purpose is, and what my message is. And then I go out and I sip and I just hit the...
Well, you were saying that you got all confident.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, why am I here? What's my purpose? What's my message? Who's my audience? And I'm like, they're my audience. And the minute I walk out and I hold a mic and I say something,
Yeah.
you get that energy out.
Yeah.
And I hear, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
And you know what? Always like with comedy, you see, you right now you're in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to touring, you mentioned you had a son. You're married.
I love how you said it in the past tense.
That's why it's all about you.
Yeah, it's all about me.
With like touring or having to go to different countries or states or whatever the case might be, how is that? Even though your son is grown, you have a husband. I always say it's kind of hard for, especially a female, to still have to go all over. How does that affect like your relationships?
It doesn't really, not at this stage of my life. It doesn't.
You're like, honey, I leaving. I will see you when I come back.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, you could be right there and they're doing what they have to do. You know, I don't even think about it.
Interesting.
I don't. I'm on a mission.
God, I hope she get divorced after this show.
And that might be what I need. I'm sure. No. My husband is very supportive.
Yeah.
He understands what I'm doing. And yeah, you know, there comes a time where I lived my life for my son and my husband.
Okay, so now you live in
Now
life
it's
with
my
Cindy-Ann.
time, yeah. If they can't fit around it, ta-ta.
Okay, noted.
Noted. Write that down.
And
hon.
you say, and it comes to touring, are you doing anything now? Are you touring
I
right
don't
now?
have anything planned now. Right now, I am sort of taking a reset after Canada.
Yeah.
Last year I went hard, and it's exhausting. You know, it is because I think to be a good comedian, you have to be vulnerable and true,
Yeah,
and
I
that
think so too.
takes a lot out of you. You know. And after Canada, I got back home, I had a few shows. Then I had some personal things that I was dealing with on the side. And so I took some time off, and I'm now about to amp it up again. We're doing a show in Trinidad in July
Okay.
called Punched Up.
Punched up, okay.
Punched Up, and it's meant to really highlight and spotlight the talent that's brewing in Trinidad, because there's a vibrant scene brewing. And the hope is to give them a foundation and a platform that they could, because some people can't travel for one reason or the other. There are, whatever their
So
restrictions.
this is Trinidadians or it's Caribbean?
It's Trinidadians
Okay.
and possibly other Caribbean islands, but for now it's Trinis, as far as we haven't launched everything yet.
Right.
But the idea is to give them that experience, because here you go on a festival or whatever, you have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes, you know what I mean? So that's, we're sort of doing it around that to give them that sort of
And
insight.
where did you get that idea from? This is your idea?
This
It's
is
a
my
collaboration?
idea.
Okay.
It's my idea.
So you're
yeah.
just like, you know what? I want my comedians in Trinidad to have a platform So explain how this show is gonna look like. So these contestants, they're gonna apply somehow.
Yeah, they're gonna do like they're gonna submit a tape of themselves.
Okay. How long the tape have to be?
5 minutes,
5
no more
minutes.
than 5 minutes, preferably in front of a live audience.
Okay.
But I understand the restrictions. No skits, no sketches, none of those things.
Right.
Stand-up comedy. We have a panel who's going to look through the clips that we get. We'll select the top, I think it's 11.
Okay.
And then we go to Queen's Hall, July 19th. And they perform, we vote, and we get the top out of that.
And what happens? So when you get the top, or is it a winner at the end?
Yes, the
And-
top 3.
And what does the winner get?
The winner gets some money. Now,
Okay.
I'm the executive producer of this event,
Yeah.
and so I'm funding it for now.
Okay.
So it's not an elaborate amount of money.
Right.
But I'll tell you very quickly, I think, I always start with I think, because people like to say, you don't know that. I think comedy, if you are in comedy to make money, you may as well stop.
Yep.
Particularly if you are in Trinidad and that's your audience, if you have aspirations of becoming more, you have to get used to sucking a little bit salt, and we're not good at that. Trinidadians are very spoiled. I would say
Because
Trinbagonians.
we were like, what she means suck salt?
What she
But-
means suck salt? No, we're spoiled, and
Yeah.
we live a good life home, eh?
I think we don't
regardless.
realize
I
it
don't-
until we not,
Correct.
yeah.
We live a good life home. We're spoiled. I could talk about my story. When I moved to the US and started comedy, the first, like when I started doing open mics, like my first 2 open mics, I walked in as a dive bar. 2 drunk men might break out in a fight. Somebody cussing in a corner. I am like, listen, my mother is turning in a grave that I'm in such a location.
Yeah.
How I can't do this. And you get paid $10, $15, $25 to do a show.
Yeah.
People need to understand that's what it's going to take. It's not this big. When I'm a comedian
Yeah.
and I'm
Who is your like ideal crowd of people? Because you say like your audience. Because can you say, oh, I could go almost in any crowd?
no,
Right.
not. I wouldn't say any crowd. Yes and no, but I think people who are okay with dark humor, who are okay with real life comedy,
Right.
who are not there to hear this one and this one on the road and a thing and a thing and a thing, and who
Leave
are,
John Agitation alone.
no. John Agitation. Let me tell you, that man was one of my favorite, eh? Yeah? Well, Tony, I love that man. Anyway, but I think somebody's open to comedy and open to understanding that it's my life and I'm talking about my life. So I'll give you a joke. Like I do a thing where I say, I have a son that I used to love.
Yeah.
And there are people who are like, it can't,
Yeah, like,
oh my,
oh my
God,
God.
don't say that. Like, what does your son think? I'm like, yeah, he knows. Because as parents, if you are a parent and you're being honest,
Yeah.
sometimes you do not like your children.
Right.
And that's
But people
okay.
just don't want to say
They
that.
don't want to
'cause it's-
say
yeah.
it. And they think you
It's so
shouldn't say it
true.
either. Don't. Yeah.
Where do you think you being a female, girl, you're female, you're black, you're immigrant. Oh, everything against
I've
you.
nothing
But-
going for me.
It's over.
It's done.
How do
Help.
you think women as comedians, because most of the time, if you look back, in everything, it was always mostly men, right? So where do you think women have a space in comedy?
100%.
Well, you say not because you're kind of a woman.
Because
so-
I am a woman. I honestly don't know what it's going to take for us to get that respect and recognition and better treatment. I don't know the answer to it other than coming together, supporting each other. But I'll tell you what also impacts women in comedy. The comedy scene is late. Shows are late at night. The hours are grueling, touring. So as a single woman who has, let's say, has a child, they might struggle for a long time to give comedy what it wants because their demands are different. You know,
Right.
as a single mom, you have your kid working late, you're afraid to take the train late, you know, you're scared to walk the streets late at night.
Right.
Yes, you know, so it does have an effect on how we play out in the scene if we're not
Yeah.
supporting each other.
So far, so much things you have accomplished in the realm of comedy. What are you most proud of for yourself?
Sticking to it.
Yeah. Because it's not easy.
Yeah.
Because you just mentioned the long hours, it's late at night, what happened, 2025 was
The
a
disrespect,
lot.
you know, men think that you owe them sometimes. If you ask, I mean, I don't know why it hasn't happened to me. Because I mean, I think I'm nice,
Yeah.
but
You're
you know,
right.
I think I'm okay. But it hasn't happened to me enough. And sometimes I question it. I'm like, because some women are like, they deal with sexual harassment at their
Right, that's what-
job.
right.
And they deal with, you know, if you want a spot at this show, you know,
And that's the other thing. When it comes with, is it different from women and men when it comes to like being friends in the comedy realm, friends or competition? Is it a lot of competition?
There's a lot of competition.
Right.
There's
Like,
a
do
lot
people
of,
do things to mess other people up? That's
They
why
do.
you see?
It's entertainment though.
Yeah.
And I think it's life. You know, I used to think it happens in the workplace too. Just in corporate
Yeah.
America, corporate Trinidad. But I think with entertainment, because it's also so grueling, it gets even nastier. And particularly, I think women feel, oh my God, there's only one spot for a woman. Because sometimes you see shows, you see
Yeah.
the call sheet, and it's 10 men, 1 woman.
Yeah.
And like, well, I want to be that woman. I don't want you to be that woman. So I'll tell them that you did blah, 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 blah. Or I'll try to mud your name. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying that's not, sometimes you feel like, man, but I'm older. So sometimes you say something, I might mull it over for a day or two, and then I'm like, it's not even worth my time. You know, what do they mean to me at the end of the day?
Right.
Nothing. Okay, next.
Okay, superstar.
No, but it's true though, and I'm glad that I'm here. It took work. I see a psychiatrist there. Just to
Yeah.
be clear, I'm seeing a psychiatrist. This is not work I've done on my own. I do see a
And
psychiatrist.
I think a lot of, and you see, this is the thing with the whole trauma and the comedy, because people think, when I think of Robin Williams and, you know, these things, everyone thinks, but he was funny and he was laughing and he had other people laughing. Is this possible?
Yeah.
And I think people need to understand, people are human.
Yeah.
We go through things even though we're laughing, you know, and
Yeah.
life is not perfect. But I'm glad you're getting the help you need.
I do. Let me tell you, I'm proud of myself too for taking that step. I need help.
Okay, and for that, and this is why, Cindy-Ann, we want to be able to present you with this really nice cup. Look, your name on there and everything, and it says, this is in recognition of amplifying Caribbean brilliance. We thank you for your contributions.
Thank you so much. This is beautiful. Oh, and red,
I
white,
know.
and black. Was that deliberate? Was
Of
that
course,
intentional?
I'm that amazing girl. I
It's
think of
so-
everything.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And since we were talking before, you know, we mentioned tour, we mentioned punched up on all the things that you go through behind the scenes, like all the touring you did in 2025. How was that, like, in the spaces that you were in? How was, like, your experience?
It was good. It's also so important. The reason that I did the tour, well, this tour started off, it was not even very much like planned initially. It started in Trinidad, and I always wanted to do the tour, and I kicked it off in Trinidad, and then I was like, okay, now is the time. And so being in spaces that Caribbean women aren't usually seen or heard is so important for us. And maybe I might be the one to make it globally. I pray, I hope.
Do you have management and stuff? Were you doing most of this?
I do most of this stuff.
Oh my goodness.
I do most of all of this stuff. I do it.
That's a lot.
I do have a nice supportive team that helps in the background, that would help with a lot of stuff, like sometimes with planning with emails and stuff. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty of it, I do it. And so, but being in those spaces are so important for who we are as women, as Caribbean women. I'm very proud as a Trinidadian, Trinbagonian.
Yes.
And so going to Canada, going to Philly, you know what I mean? Doing those shows in those spaces. Now I can't remember everywhere I went because I did
Right.
quite a few,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, being in those spaces, Atlanta. I'm the first Trinidadian to ever do Atlanta Fringe Festival.
Really?
It's
That's
been, I think,
amazing.
14 or 15 years.
Yeah.
Why aren't we in those spaces?
But how do we get in those spaces?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Is it a lack of knowledge? Is it a sense of, well, I probably don't belong there? Is it a sense of, I am above that. I don't know. I don't.
And is it like we saying that, or are people ready to have us over there also?
Well, I did it.
Okay,
You
so
know,
you
I
breaking
reached-
down the doors.
I am, and I
Yeah.
am also proud of that. Like you asked me, like, what am I most proud of?
Yeah.
That I'm proud that I stuck with it, that I'm still doing it, and I'm proud of that I've made way for so many people to
Yeah.
see this is something that they can do.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that. So that's what the Red Woman tour was about. That was
Red woman.
You know, it's funny because when I said Red Woman, I thought everybody would figure it's Trinidadian, but some people thought it meant that I was fierce.
I never thought of it
Yeah,
that way. 'Cause
red
I'm
as in
Trinidadian, so I'm like, I know what red woman
Right.
means.
So some people thought it was fire.
You're
like,
like,
oh,
okay,
like
now
you're
when you say it,
heated.
I'm like, I see it now. Okay.
Like you're heated. Red
like,
is
oh,
hot and
yeah.
fiery and fierce. And I was
You see how
like,
different things mean different.
right. And I was like, well, it means all of that too, but it also is just an ode to home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Yeah.
But since this is Caribbean Brilliance and you're from Trinidad and Tobago, because people always say you're from Trinidad, I always go Trinidad and Tobago.
Me too.
I want to see how Trinidadian you are and if you could explain some of these things. Don't worry, it should be easy if you're a true Trini. You only been here 15 years. So one of my first questions, if someone come up to you and go, explain what doubles is, how do you explain that to someone?
I tell them it's like picture like a pita bread, but thinner and fluffier, with chickpea done in a curried sauce, and you make a sort of a sandwich, like a pita sandwich, and you put like sauces and spices, and then you have to eat it with your hand to get the real experience.
But
Yeah.
I always say for you gotta eat it and see it and taste it to get it, because even when I try to explain it, it's so difficult in a way.
I've had good response. I've actually taken people to eat doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Trini food on the whole, I've had them experience it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
And next question. If someone asks you what's the difference between Juve and Mass?
Oh,
Oh God. Okay.
it's like literally night and day. Juve is a freedom. It's an exhilaration of life and spirit. It's just a letting go. Mass is a good time. You want to party, you love looking pretty, you love dancing, you love posing, you love to walk, you love hot sun, you love that. That's Juve is my thing.
The last question. What is a mako? And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's neither good nor bad.
Yeah.
It is somebody who is a little too involved at times.
That
but-
sounds so clean. Too involved.
Too involved at times, but also can come in very handy. Like we had what we would call a street mako.
Yeah.
But oh my God, she knew who took your fruits. She knew. Sometimes I would go out late and I'm coming home later and I would be like, well, I know who's looking at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel safe because the Mako is looking at me. So if anybody try anything, I'm like, well, she's going to see and report it.
Yeah. So all the stuff you have accomplished now, what is next for Cindy-Ann?
Next for Cindy-Ann, this year my word is conviction.
And why you say conviction?
Because sometimes I think everybody, you experience a period of doubt. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I reaching the right people? Are they getting the message? Should I? And I have to stand convicted in what I'm doing and invite people into it. Because I'll tell you, if we have a little time to share this, when I started Comedy Home, there were a lot of people who did not understand what I was doing. There are still a lot of people, I know for a fact back home, that not too familiar with the genre of stand-up comedy. Like, what do you mean? You're just standing up talking?
Sure. Because we are accustomed with the skits.
We are accustomed with the skits.
Yeah.
We are accustomed with a lot of political bacchanal and picong and, and so when you stand there, you're like, you're going to do the same jokes next year too? And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. They're like, really? Because we come from a society where everywhere is new soca songs. So there's a need and an expectation that you have to come new every single time.
Yeah.
And changing that mindset is my thing this year is to stand firm in my conviction and really go out there and show the world that I can do it, and if I can do it, any other Caribbean
And
immigrant.
that's what the show is about. Showing
Yeah.
someone that have done it, is doing it, and hopefully it does inspire someone else. Because sometimes when you think you're from this small islands,
Yeah.
I remember thinking I'd never go on a plane, much more for living in New York. I thought America was in the sky somewhere. You know how you think.
Yeah.
And I know you collaborated with some people, like some past comedians, like Trinidad comedians or other
Yeah. I've worked with comedians here as well. Like I've opened for comedians, like international comedians as well. And I see that I walk out there and then the people are not there to see me. They came to see whether it's Maria Bamford or Misha Buteau, and I walk on stage and I start and they're like, oh, but this girl is funny. And
Yeah.
I've gotten some real fans from that,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, that's what's in it for me, to really try and block out the noise. Because man, let me tell you, and to
I like when you're talking or like you're thinking about it. Like,
and to get people who believe in me to be
Yeah.
louder than the people who do not.
wow, I like that.
Because the people who believe in you, here's what happens, honestly.
Yeah.
People who believe in me, who love my work, whatever, they send me an inbox. Or they tell me that in my face. The people who don't, and they would put a comment on my page. Woman and funny. What trash is this? Da, 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 da. Meanwhile, I have a ton load of people sending me messages. It's as if they're afraid to say that they like. I don't know what it is, but somehow negativity always gets more amplified.
100%.
I have to say, because I've said that, but I also want to say that I do have a lot of support. And I'm getting a little emotional because I have great support. Because the people who aren't loud on social media, who aren't loud, they are loud in real life and show up to my shows.
Yeah.
Show up for me in real life. So I do have that too. It's just sometimes the noise is so loud. I'm like, oh, I wish. I guess it's a me thing more than a them thing in some ways.
Yeah.
I need to block out the noise. But also, they need to be a little bit louder too. We need to be louder.
I think they heard you.
Okay.
So with that said, tell the people if they want to reach out to you, they want to contact you, they want to see some of the things that you do, where they can do that.
First of all, do not reach out to me. No, I'm kidding.
That was a good one.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. That was so good. Email me, Cindy-Ann Boisson @gmail.com. You can subscribe to my website. I blog. I love to write. So I write blogs. You could subscribe to my website, subscribe to my YouTube channel, send me a message on Instagram, come see me live. And yeah, let's drive and build this thing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
being
me.
an amazing guest. I just want to say, oh my God, didn't you love her? Cindy-Ann, first of all, I don't know why they always have Ann at the end of everything, but anyway, that's them island people. Shelly-Ann, Carrie-Ann, Cindy-Ann. Thank you for joining me. I hope this definitely empowered you and inspired you to go after your dreams and goals, no matter what it is. So don't forget, no matter what, Miss Francois is always saying exactly what you're thinking. And you can check me out on every social media. Any social media, you can find Miss Francois. Just remember, until we lime again, have a wonderful day.